Warning. This is another horror fanfiction that will depict a lot of violence and gore and will have a lot of creepy fan art which will also show descriptions of violence and gore amongst other things. If you do not like that, then please do not watch this video. Or at least skip to the end. Thank you.
Welcome to the final act of the Carnival of Terror, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Knight himself will be doing the final act, discussing one of the most infamous fan fictions yet again. This twisted, alternate, disturbing alternate universe fan fiction known as The Rainbow Factory. Now, we will stream his true, unfiltered thoughts about this story.
This story is freaking stupid!
Now a rainbow's tale isn't quite as nice as the story we knew of sugar and spice. But a rainbow's easy once you get to know it, with the help of the magic of a Pegasus device.
Okay. So let me state this first. As I said last year during the Cut Piece review, any fan fiction is a labor of love. It is a sign that you love the show enough to make your own stories about it. It is a passion project. I myself have made many fan fictions on film fiction. Some I'm proud of, others not so much, some with brilliant editing, and some I never wished that I had written it. No matter how good or really, really bad a fanfic is, I will respect that the creator has a right to make and write whatever he or she desires. That being said, I myself have a right to my opinion. And my opinion is very, very simple. Rainbow Factory is a terrible fanfiction. As a horror story fanfiction, it isn't scary. As an alternate universe fiction, it isn't interesting. As a story in general, it's terrible because its tone is absolutely all over the place and makes no logical sense at the end of the day. As stated before, this is an alternate universe story set in Cloudsdale, where it is a rather unpleasant, dystopian, almost fascist society. Flight school is a nightmare because the final test will allow Pegasi to choose whatever they want in life. However, something terrible happens to those who do not pass the test, and they don't know or want to know what it is. It stars a much older Scootaloo, her friend Orion, who are making their final tests. They observe a Pegasus named Aurora who breaks her wings mid-exam and needs help. Orion, being selfless, sacrifices himself to make sure she is okay. As for Scootaloo, while she does well, the thought of never seeing Orion again gets her distracted and she fails herself. The three are taken to the upper factory of the titular Rainbow Factory, revealing they are meant to become part of the spectra, the color of the rainbows. And, well, they learn that rainbows are in fact ponies. And in a rather shocking reveal, Rainbow Dash is the manager of the ponies, berates them all on their failures and attempts to turn them into rainbows. While they fight back, all of them ultimately fall victim. The last line spoken is Scootaloo saying to Rainbow Factory Dash, "You have beautiful eyes." Okay. Where do I freaking start? First of all, the horror element. This is Friendship is Terror, after all. They are very poorly handled, as the horror elements comes right out of nowhere. We aren't eased into the factory's true intentions. We aren't shown a disturbing look of ponies being turned to rainbows. The element of horror and suspense are lacking in these scenes because they're kind of just jammed in there. Despite the fact I found it hilarious at the end, Cupcakes at least kept the horror themes consistent throughout the story. It was full of dread and suspense throughout, though where it got funny was it going too over the top with its violence. Second of all, the minute I read Scootaloo saying in the opening act that Rainbow Dash was training her to pass, the villain was basically neon lit plastered with her sign of her head. The reveal, when it came out, wasn't shocking at all. It was blindingly obvious to me because it's called Chekhov's gun. Now, Chekhov's gun, if you don't know, is a story element trope that is very good. and a storytelling trope I really like. You establish something in the first act, and then eventually it will come into play. Now, here's the thing. When it's done well, it's really good. And even though you can see it coming, it's supposed to build up to a satisfying payoff. However, when it's done poorly, you feel like your time is wasted and insulted when it's trying to show off it's some shocking reveal when it kind of really isn't. Third of all, the secret totalitarian society thing is an absolute cliche. Every time I read through the horrible things the Rainbow Factory workers and flight schools were doing, I groaned harder and harder and harder because it was just so ridiculously stupid. Every berating comment made me wish I was hearing Cupcake's one-liners or playing FNAF's sister location. And I know that's hilarious coming from me, considering that the Dark Carnival is a huge cliche, and that's the theme of Friendship is Terror this year. Not to toot my own horn here, but even though it's a cliche, I at least try to make it interesting. Finally, and worst of all, it is so stupid. Now, don't get me wrong. Dumb can be fun, especially in horror. Half the slasher movies I watch are absolutely stupid. My favorite Friday the 13th of all time is Part 7, and that's only because I like the idea of two supernatural forces colliding with each other. However, you ask me if I think the movie itself is stupid? Oh, I would completely agree with you. However, sometimes dumb can be just dumb. The ending line is what sealed the deal for me. It makes no sense. When I was reading it, it was implied that they use whole ponies, not the eyes. The line makes no sense. The violence is forced, and it's just so dumbly worded. Now, this is the part where I say, oh, how would I make this better? Simple. I wouldn't have written it at all. The fan art I am showing you on screen right now has more love and effort put into it than anything to do with the actual work. The only good thing that ever came out of this was that awesome Living Tombstone song. However, like I said before, if you like this story, fine, more power to you. You got some enjoyment out of something that I found no joy in. However, I will not compromise my integrity and lie to you by saying that I think this is a great fic. I think this is an awful fic. And honestly, at the end of the day, that's all I have to say. Creature of the night. Oh no. No, you don't. Cupcakes was an enjoyable pad. So you know what? Cupcake Spinky, she earned that gag kill for me last year. You? No, I have a standard. In fact, it's time to show you a real horror story. Welcome, young Rainbow Factory Dash. I hope you don't mind me taking away your uniform. You won't need it where you're going. It's time for you to realize the true power of terror and horror, and not your cliched forced trite. First is what we all must confront. The dark side within us all, the villain in all of our souls, the twisted nightmares that crawl in each and every one of our minds, every violent thought that we thought of, every twisted, cruel intention that we face. Second of all, Rainbow Factory Dash is finding out that there is no such thing as a Shades of Grey world. While yes, that does exist, there is such a thing as pure evil in this world. Third is knowing the fear of survival, knowing that you can be helpless at any minute like you are now, knowing that no matter what you do, you can't escape this fate. No matter how hard you try, you can't run. Finally,
it's knowing that the dark side will never die. It only changes.
with every change comes an evolution, with every change comes a new terror, and that's the real final act of this Carnival Rainbow Factory Dash. Welcome to it all, the Carnival of Fantasy fun, and more importantly, terror. Welcome to your end. That's all I have to say. Your life out.